This is Sam Prue from Who Would Win Masters. We've opened new official channels and we want you there. Follow Who Would Win Masters on Instagram and subscribe to youtube.com/@WhoWouldWinMasters. And on YouTube, click the Visit Community button to leave your 1v1 battle challenges. Leave a comment and you might just hear it read on the show. Be a part of the arena, be a part of the debate. Now let's dive in.
If you're the purchasing manager at a manufacturing plant, you know having a trusted partner makes all the difference. That's why, hands down, you count on Grainger for auto reordering. With on-time restocks, your team will have the cut-resistant gloves they need at the start of their shift. And you can end your day knowing they've got safety well in hand. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
The ground shudders as spotlights flicker to life in a ruined amphitheater torn between eras. Cracked stone meets shattered stage lights. Ancient symbols glow beneath modern scaffolding, and the air hums with something between magic and music. A thunderous beat drops. From a burst of neon light, a squad of performers step forward in perfect sync, blades hidden behind choreography, voices carrying power that bends the darkness itself. Across the arena, the earth splits open. Rusted armor clatters, bones rise, Deadites crawl from the shadows as an unholy army marches to the sound of screaming souls and chainsaw revs. One's a demon-hunting girl group that slays monsters with rhythm, steel, and supernatural swagger. The other, a relentless horde of the damned resurrected by cursed pages and fueled by pure chaos. Pop meets possession, style meets slaughter. This week, it's the Idols of Infernal Justice, the K-pop Demon Hunters, versus the endless horde of the Necronomicon, the Army of Darkness. Welcome back to a new year of great debates, amazing guests. This is Who Would Win Masters. I am Sam Proof on all the socials, and in this episode, we are starting off strong and pitting musical mayhem versus an endless horde of evil. Our guest tonight started us off last year, so we're bringing him back to start this season, and that makes this canon, so no matter what Ray says, that's going to happen every season going forward, I think. The one and only Delvin Cox. Delvin, welcome back. How you doing?
It's great to be back, man. It's great. New season, same clothes, same people. Happy to be back on the show, man. It's going to be fun.
Right on. Happy New Year. How were your holidays?
Oh, they were pretty good. I got a little vacation from work, so that was a good thing. Played some video games, relaxed a little bit.
Cool.
Now, watched a couple movies for, this episode, so that's been interesting to say the least.
All right. Now, speaking of movies, you have picked not just a character, not a single character. You are representing the Army of Darkness. Why did you pick this team?
Because Ray said so.
There you go. That's it.
No, I love the Army of Darkness. I love the movies. I thought it was me and Ray was tossing ideas at each other and things like that, because one of the things we want to do, we wanted to get K-pop Demon Hunters on the show. And plus, this was a good time for me to watch K-pop Demon Hunters. So I was like, and Ray was like, hey, what about Army of Darkness? I'm like, I love Army of Darkness. That is a good idea. Matter of fact, I have the movie in Blu-ray. And I went to look, and I looked at my Evil Dead collection, and the Evil Dead collection apparently has every movie except Army of Darkness. And I didn't realize that. Like, I have this big box set that doesn't have Army of Darkness in it.
That is criminal.
It's weird.
You had to go shake down Sam Raimi.
So I had to go buy Army of Darkness and watch it again, which I love the movie, so it was fantastic. Yeah. Great time.
All right.
Very happy to do this.
Cool. All right. Let's get into tonight's Tale of the Tape. The Tale of the Tape is brought to you by Turn Signals. Did you know that your car, there's a little stick on the left side of the steering wheel that goes up and down? That's called a turn signal. And you can use it to let other cars on the road know what you're planning to do. Perhaps use it. It would be great if you used it. Why don't you use it? Turn Signals. Because other people on the road can't read your frickin' mind. Tonight's battle to open Season 2 of Who Would Win Masters is a team battle. On one side, we have Rumi, Mira, and Zoe, together known as Huntrix, or the K-pop Demon Hunters. K-pop demon hunters are a trio of powered-up warriors who also work together as the most popular K-pop group in the world. They were created by Maggie Kang and released on Netflix in 2025, where it has become the most watched original title in Netflix history, amassing over 500 million views. They will be taking on the Army of Darkness. This would be the castle-sieging army from the third Evil Dead movie, known as Army of Darkness. The army consists of skeletons, ghouls, and other undead creatures. They are led by both Evil Sheila and Evil Ash. They were created by Sam Raimi and Ivan Raimi and first released in 1992. Those are the basics of both sides, so it's time to introduce your opponent for tonight, Delvin. What can be said about him that hasn't already been said about bagpipe music? Loud, aggressive, and frequently appears on Who Would Win episodes. It's Ray Stakenas. Ray, how are you doing? How are you feeling coming into 2026?
I feel like a bagpipe coming into 2026, beaten, abused till sounds come out of my pipes. I'm excited though. Look, we're going to do this matchup. I'm excited about this matchup. You're going to take my favorite movie of all time, Army of Darkness. That's my number one overall draft pick for movies, Army of Darkness, against the K-pop Demon Hunters, which is probably the best movie of 2025. I was just thinking out loud, I believe like 4 of the top 10 songs that charted this year are from that movie, which is absurd, but that's how good the K-pop music is in this movie. Okay. And it's combined with an incredible set of characters, world building, battles. K-pop Demon Hunters is legit. If you've been sleeping on it, go see it. It is incredible.
Wow. Oh, I mean, you heard it here first, potentially. And with that being said, let's get into our rules in under a minute.
Here are your rules for Who Would Win Masters in 1 minute. Number 1, there will be 3 timed rounds with counterpoints allowed. Number 2, characters will have no prior knowledge of their opponent and no outside interference will be allowed. Number 3, keep the characters in character. Outliers and crossovers will be given less weight. Number 4, battles can be won by death, knockout, battlefield removal, or incapacitation. And number 5, after the battle, I will give my unofficial opinion as to who wins and why. However, I am just one voice. It will be up to all of you on our social media and our Patreon to make your voices heard as to who won.
All right. And with that being said, Delvin, as our guest, you will be up first with 3 minutes on the clock, starting now.
I'm super excited to do this. Let's go. All right, first and foremost, my point number 1 for me is just that fact that this is an army. This isn't like 5 dudes against K-pop Demon Hunters. This is an Army of Darkness. Now, I looked up the size of the army. I couldn't get a great estimate on it. People were saying from like 1,000 to 5,000. Like that seems a bit high. That's not a bit high. So I would say this army is probably like in the range of like maybe like between 500 and close to 1,000. I don't think it's in the 1,000 range. But nevertheless, I digress. In this army, there's different variety types of Deadites. For those who watch Army of Darkness, Deadites are like these kind of like zombie type creatures that are very intelligent, that can fight, and they're very strong and stuff like that. And these demon types are essentially, they have the skeleton type, which is kind of the first line of defense. They're easy to break, but they can swarm you in numbers and overpower you and kind of kill you that way. That's the basic ones. I think of them like if you watch the Clone Wars movie, which one? The first one was those little droids that shoot the guns. They're kind of like that. Like you could probably take out a few of them and stuff like that. Then you have the armored skeleton ones, Deadite ones that are a little bit more tougher to take down. They have swords and flaming arrows and things like that. And you have also variants of those which are like come on horseback and they have like the long wooden shields and weapons like spears and long bows and swords and things. Then you also have more durable ones, which are still like they still have flesh in them. And this is still quite a few of those in the battle. And they're durable. They can take punches. They have similar feats of what a regular Deadite have, which is kind of like almost peak superhuman strength. They're not necessarily like, they're stronger than the average human. Like they can throw a human and things like that. And they're very durable. They're better fighters and then kind of take over the field and things like that. Then you also have with them a flying Deadite, which was shown in the movie that took away one of the characters, and something happened that we'll talk about later. So, and one of the things about the flying one is the K-pop demon hunters cannot fly. So if the flying one comes in, is strong enough to take one of the K-pop demon hunters off the battlefield, which probably based off of how they act, they work within synergy with each other, which probably will make the other ones go after to protect that one. Or if you want to say, okay, they might try to fight, the K-pop demon hunters try to fight it back, it also can take his weapons. Take one of their weapons away from him, which also
30 seconds remaining.
A lot less defensive. Speaking of weapons, the demon hunters' weapons work against the monsters from their universes. Their universes monsters are not the same as the monsters from the Army of Darkness series, because the Deadites are from the Necronomicon, and so therefore those weapons won't have the same effect as the ones they have on the K-pop demon hunters. So I think the K-pop demon hunters will have a difficult time of taking down these Deadites and things like that, because they are very durable, and also when you knock one down, they get back up, they can rebuild themselves, and that's my point number 1 so far.
All right, good start. Ray, 3 minutes on the clock for your point number 1, starting now.
I love the way that you presented that first. You really laid out the scope of what the battle's going to look like. Now, I would argue that the most powerful Deadites that you described probably represent the same power level as the average demon that the K-pop demon hunters will face. I would think the skeletons, even the armored ones, even the flying ones are a little bit lower powered than the demons. And you're right, the weapons that the K-pop demon hunters use, we'll talk about that in point number 2, but all they have to really do is just get a hit on. Remember the Blade movie where he had weapons and he hit the vampire and so they exploded, even if he just got him a little bit? That is sort of what the K-pop demon hunters are capable of doing. But Delvin, you've seen the movie. You've seen what they're capable. They cut people in half, and I don't care who you are, whether or not the extra magic will make you blow up. That will take you out. Measurables, their strength. They use their weapons to casually split demons in two. They are able, one-on-one, to physically dominate demons that are even larger than themselves because they have that strength. Heck, Mira smashed a demon into a plane seat, smashed him into a puddle using a hot water pot on the airplane in the opening scene. Speed-wise, and this is where I think the K-pop demon hunters really have an advantage, is speed. The undead army is very, very slow for the most part. But K-pop demon hunters' baseline is FTE, or faster than the eye can see. They're moving way faster than anything the Army of Darkness can muster. Look, we saw Zoe tear open a bag of potato chips. They all hung in the air for a moment, and she was fast enough to scoop all of them into her mouth at the same time. Heck, sometimes they leave smoke trails behind due to their speed when they're fighting. They even did the Batman disappear to their manager when his back was turned. He turned back, they were gone. Army of Darkness's biggest advantage and where they were most successful is because they were sieging a castle that did not move. The K-pop demon hunters, though, are a moving target I don't think they're going to be able to keep up with. Look, they fight in concert. K-pop demon hunters do, Huntrix. They fight in concert and they protect each other as they go. It's like a very good Left 4 Dead a squad in that every single one of them is catching each other's backs all the time. They can defy gravity and they can wall walk and run around on walls when they need to. The opening scene is on an airplane where they crush a demon flight crew while eating noodles, and they just grabbed whatever was lying around to do it. By the time they actually conjure their weapons, the demons are trying to run away on an airplane. The demons know that they are in trouble, and they really didn't put up much of a fight at all. It's one of the best intro scenes of any movie I've ever seen. In fact, they jump from the airplane and land with no problem inside the stadiums, killing demons on the way down, killing demons once they get there. And I'll also point out, they broke a mind control spell in the movie and broke each other out of it using their willpower and souls. I know Evil Dead has some tricks like that. I don't think those are going to work here.
All right, Delvin, 60 seconds on the clock for your first counterpoint. Starting now.
I think Ray made up some good points, but I also want to bring up the fact that the demons from Army of Darkness are very durable. Like when the siege was going on, they would shoot. The only way they was taking a lot of these demons was by shooting fireballs at them. Like the other ones was losing limbs and kept going and kept fighting and things like that. And one of the things I want to mention about the K-pop demon hunters is these are groups that's been around for years and years and years. and they keep changing over. This is like the latest version of this group. And what happened to the older ones? They died off, they retired, or things like that. So these demon hunters can be beaten, they can be defeated, and they have been defeated in times. And I think one of the things I think have going my way is the demon hunters are still fairly new to the scene. They're still young, they're still learning each other, and they have emotions. They have emotions, they have feelings, they care about each other, and they kind of have their own like personalities, and sometimes their personalities clash against each other. And when they're not in synergy, they're not as crisp as they want to be with fighting. And I think that's a very important factor considering the people they're dealing with, because the Evil Dead people are exclusively made to handle people like that. And I think that's my point on my count.
All right, that's a very interesting point, and we'll see how this all comes together in point number 2 when we come back after this break.
Have you ever searched yourself online? The results can be surprising, sometimes unsettling, let me tell you. Your phone number, home address, and even details about your family are out there, whether you agreed to it or not. That's because data brokers are collecting and selling your information to marketing scammers, basically anyone who's willing to pay. It's the reason these robocallers know your name and why ads seem to track you across every screen. It is a digital nightmare. Well, Aura could be your solution. You cannot conceive of how many different scummy data organizations there are out there. When I used this service, I was shocked at finding out there are hundreds of places my info could be found. Hundreds! And Aura can shut a lot of that down. And if your identity's ever stolen, you're backed up by $5 million in insurance and 24/7 US-based fraud support to help you recover quickly. Look, other services charge about the same, but they only cover 1-2 areas maybe. With Aura, you get it all. Data broker removal, credit and identity monitoring, device protection, fraud support. It's all in one simple app. Aura removes what's already exposed, protects what's not, and puts you back in control. Right now, you can try Aura free for 14 days when you visit aura.com/remove. That's enough time for Aura to start removing your personal information from these data broker sites. Sign up today at aura.com/remove and get the peace of mind that your privacy, identity, and finances are safeguarded. That's aura.com/remove. Certain terms apply. See the site for details.
Welcome back. Let's get straight into point number 2. We'll see if the synergies of personalities can outdo the army of darkness with their speed and all. Delvin, 3 minutes on the clock for your point number 2, starting now.
My second point is essentially Evil Ash and Evil Sheila. They're both much stronger Deadites created from the unseen force that follows Ash when the evil is unleashed. Both Evil Ash and Evil Sheila has low-level super strength. It's not like Captain America level, but it's strong. It's strong enough. They can throw around humans. They can break walls. They can break necks and things like that. They're also very durable. You can break their bones. You can chop them up. They're gonna essentially just keep coming back. The way that Evil Ash was defeated was he literally was blown up. And it takes a lot. K-pop demon hunter weapons are great, but I don't think they're gonna blow him up. They know they'll get a slice and thing like that. And plus, like I said, they're not from the same universe as Evil Dead, so there's different rules applied to them. Yes, these weapons can slice and dice, but they're not the same weapons that'll just disintegrate these type of creatures. Also, let me get also this type of thing. One of the things I think about this battle is that's going to help with this battle a lot is the fact that there's another aspect of Evil Ash in particular, is that he has the ability to possess people and make them on his side. And what is interesting about this is the K-pop demon hunters, while they're very strong and synergized, if you can separate them from this battle at any point in time, Evil Ash, who also has the ability to kind of make himself, which each one of the Deadites have the ability to make themselves look human, can kind of deceive the K-pop demon hunter, one of the K-pop demon hunters, and possess them within that way. Because that's a common thing. Like in the movie itself, one of the demon hunters was tricked by the bad guys to thinking, oh, this is my team, and it really wasn't the team. So that's a way they can kind of be tricked into thinking that and being possessed by that. Now, granted, of course, like Ray said, the power of willpower and the friendship helped them overcome that stuff. But will it be in time enough for them to, for this other demon to not attack them and hurt them or do anything damage to others? And I think that is a kind of a big question for themselves, because they don't want to fight their own teammates. And while they're trying to, protect their teammate who's been possessed by a Deadite, there's also on this field 500 to 1,000 skeletons that's also attacking them. So it's a little bit hard to snap at it when you have somebody shooting fire arrows at you and trying to take off your head with knives and swords. So it's going to be a little bit more of a tougher battle for them with one of their own members possessed by evil Ash or somebody like that, and he's fighting
30 seconds remaining.
like that, and having to deal with also Deadites and other things coming at him. So it's a whole lot of things going on that can also take them out of synergy and take them out of their mental state. And one of the bigger things about this movie was it had a lot to do with mental health and the characters going through mental issues and things like that because of insecurity and things like that. And one thing about Deadites is they talk a lot of trash. And once they get into a head of somebody that knows them, they can find out their deepest, darkest secrets and use that against the demon hunters. So, that's one of the big elements of the story where, hey, this person had an insecurity and the demons exploited that insecurity because of it. And I think this is one of the things that the evil dead people in the Army of Darkness can do that really can hurt these demon hunters get a chance.
All right, Ray, 3 minutes on the clock for your point number 2, starting now.
See, I love that argument from Delvin Cox, because that's the way that I would try to approach this battle. The problem is that two things. One is the evil dead can only really possess you if it knocks you unconscious first. It knocks you unconscious and then it brings you back possessed. That's generally how it works in the Evil Dead movies. But also, I just don't think that's going to happen. They have to separate them, and then in the middle of a musical number, because let's keep it real, there will be a K-pop song happening throughout the entirety of this battle. It might be being fought against by the Army of Darkness bagpipe music and March of the Dead theme. I don't know. But let's talk about the weapons right now, because the other thing about the Evil Dead is that the way that you defeat the Deadites is you got to dismember them. You have to chop them up. What do the K-pop demon hunters do throughout all the movie to every demon they face? Cut them in 2, 3, 4 pieces over and over and over again. And it's not even like they need weapons. Rumi kicked a demon so hard that it just died. It just straight out exploded. But whatever. In the bathhouse fight, and I think this is a great example, is there was a giant horde of demons that showed up to fight the K-pop demon hunters. The weapons that the team can use are magical, and they can materialize or dematerialize at will. Rumi has an energy sword, not a lightsaber, but an energy sword. And at one point to end that battle, she got mad. She threw it, spun, and took out all the ones around her teammates, and then slapped it on the ground, creating kind of a detonation that took out everybody else that was still in the room. Mira has a glaive, like a blade on a big old pole arm, and she threw it to impale somebody and then kicked it into their chest to push it through, and could swing it around in a circle. In fact, throw it so the other members can do like acrobatics off of it. It's incredible. And Zoe has magical knives. She can move them with telekinesis, swing with them, or throw them. She's been able to throw them through the demons pretty effectively. She can also throw them and then dematerialize and then rematerialize them, so she doesn't have to go pick them up every single time she throws them. Big deal. And you did bring it up. I talk about Rumi a little bit more because she's like a cut above the other ones, because, spoiler alert, she's half hunter and half demon. Her parents were that. So her power level has a higher ceiling than the other members of her team. When tormented on stage by the demons pretending to be her friends, right? That they were gonna threaten her with her secret. And you're right, Delvin. If she still had that secret from her team, the Army of Darkness could use it against them. But she doesn't, because they know now. So there are no deep, dark secrets left in that crew. But she screamed when she was tormented with a power that rumbled the earth like an earthquake and shattered the lights in the arena. She's a cut above. And in fact, if she does start to lose composure from the taunting, she will take on a demonic form with claws and other demonic features like glowing eyes. She's not to be trifled with.
All right, Delvin, you have 60 seconds on the clock to deal with your half-demon hunter and all of those weapons, starting now.
Correct. She overcame that fear of that. But they also have, each member has other fears and other things that can be exploited. Like the one that you were talking about with the nouns, can't remember her name right now. She's afraid of not being included and being alone and things like that. The other one is insecure and having hard issues with trusting people and things like that. And those things can be used to exploit those other demon hunters as well. And Rumi, while she's gotten over it for the most part, she still has questions and insecurities about herself as well. That can be exploited. And I think that's going to be a big part of this battle, especially with the one thing that I think the Army of Darkness have the big advantage of. If they possess any member of this team, they will get prior knowledge of these team members. I think that's an important thing that we really don't normally get in a who will win battle that I think can be used to help them win this battle.
All right, we'll see if the possession happens in point number 3 when we come back from this break. Welcome back. We're going to get straight into point number 3. Delvin, 3 minutes on the clock. Take us home.
Okay, my point number 3, I've been holding just for this moment. This is my long stretch. This is my bomb that I'm throwing down the field. My point number 3 is the Kandarian demon. And the one who the Kandarian demon is the unseen force in the Evil Dead movies, including the Army of Darkness, who follows the Deadites. And what the unseen demon does is in every demon Evil Dead series, and what it does is an unseen force that follows people and possesses them. And it's very strong. It's kind of like the I think it's called the Jinwa in Demon Hunters, like the kind of big boss. The unseen force is kind of in charge of all the Army of Darkness demons and stuff like that. It's the one that wants a Necronomicon, and when you try to go after it, it's always there. It's always that force. It sends all the other demons out there. So I would assume that the Kandarian demon would be on the battlefield and at play. And the difference between the Kandarian demon as opposed to the other ones is it has a lot of its own abilities itself. It appears as a shadowy smoke-like creature with abilities of telekinesis, mind control, and can possess bodies and even inanimate objects. And that is an important object to add into us. Because this not only can it possess the other demon hunters, but it can possess their weapons. And since it's an unseen force, I can see one of the, like Rumi trying to attack one of the demons, and the Kandarian demon possesses his weapon, it makes it stab a demon hunter. And imagine if it kills his own teammate, how they would feel, how that would affect them and their mental state of mind by accidentally killing a teammate that they're not knowing that their weapon was possessed by a Kandarian demon. Or, possess another member, because the Kandarian demons, they just possess you straight up. They just go straight up and at you and possess you. This demon is bad. It's awful. And I think it has the power to possess the demon hunters even more so than an evil ash and things like that. And so what happens in this battle when these demon hunters are faced with one of their members being killed or seriously injured? So if one of the members gets seriously injured in the battle, most likely they're going to leave the battlefield. What happens if one of the demon hunters gets possessed? They're going to try to figure out a way to get that demon hunter either out of there or go or leave the battlefield to regroup so they can come back and save that demon hunter. And I think that is the difference between the Army of Darkness and the K-pop demon hunters. Army of Darkness
30
is willing to
seconds
sacrifice
remaining.
their whole team to get their goal. The K-pop demon hunters are not willing to sacrifice their friendship to get that goal. And I think they can always come back and regroup. And once they figure out what kind of demon this is and get some counseling, they can go back and fight another day. And I think that is the biggest difference between these two teams. One is willing to go there all the way and risk their life and die. The other one's not willing to risk their team members because, frankly speaking, they're friends. And friendship, the whole power of friendship overcomes all that stuff. And they're not willing to risk that over this. They'll come back later and fight again.
All right, Ray, your point number 3 is friendship the magic that's going to save the K-pop demon hunters? Starting now.
I disagree with a lot of what Delvin just said right there. I think the K-pop demon hunters are in it to save the world. They're not just going to get crying because one of them gets hurt. They're going to fight even harder in there. And the Kandarian demon was not something I was expecting you to bring into this battle. So good job. But Kandarian demon. That means it has the rules of a demon, which means one hit with their magical weapons should be enough to take it down. And it's not exactly something that dodges out of the way. It just bowls people over. Remember, Rumi took down the Guima with just a slash, and that was the giant demon in her own movie, right? And I would ask the question, where was the Kandarian demon during the final battle of the last half hour of Army of Darkness? It really is more of a cowardly demon. It fights people one-on-one and chases them and tries to knock them out. You didn't see it in the final battle. I don't know that I would give it too much weight here, but the K-pop demon hunters, they should carry a lot of weight because they have crazy good teamwork, because they're a musical act with choreography and fight moves that build off of each other. Evil Ash is a decent leader for what he is, but he is not ready for the smoke that they are bringing. Look, the skeletons and the undead are going to get dispatched pretty easily. I don't see a situation where they really even factor into this battle whatsoever, which leaves the more powerful Deadites and the leaders. Let's face it, the skeletons fall apart when they get punched by humans. What are we doing here? The Han Moon is the thing I want to talk about, and that would be the magical golden shield that they create through their songs, the K-pop demon hunters, to push out the demons from the entire world completely and gate them out. They get soul energy from their fans, and they can use it to fly. I know you said they didn't fly, but at the end of that movie, they were flying, and they could even fly after the soul energy died down a little bit. So I would argue they could use the Han Moon, the spiritual shield that they're able to create, to wall off parts of the battle, take care of everybody inside of it, push the demons out further, take over another part of it, so they're not having to fight the entire army at the same time. They're able to do it in chunks and pieces, which they will easily be able to do. Why? Because they have a light amount of Toon Force on top of everything else. One time they were in a battle and a fight, and they created a smoke cloud that they do in the cartoons with the arms and the swords and stuff coming out of it. Look, Amira cried popcorn kernels when she had to take down one of the Saja boys because his abs were phenomenal, and they were. Yes. When they get hit or have a piece of, when they either get hit or have a piece of intensity, they get over-defined features. Why? Toon Force powers. The big thing to talk about, though, is they absorb souls from friends as well as enemies that they defeat to gain power as they go. The longer this battle goes on, the more soul energy they'll be able to take from the Army of Darkness and spit it back out at them. So by the time they get to Evil Sheila and Evil Ash at the end, who are, no joke in their own regards, they're going to be so amped up on soul energy, they are going to pound them to end the concert. And that is all I have to say about that.
All right, 1 minute on the clock for Delvin, your final counterpoint, starting now.
Let me add this in. This is a neutral universe. So the K-pop Demon Hunters fans are not there. And all the things that would help them is not in this universe because it's not their universe. The weapons, because it's not their universe and not their demons, won't have the same power, won't have the same effect as it does in their universe. They are the master of their universe. They control those things. So a lot of their powers they get from the fans won't be there. They will be strong. I will say that. They will be strong, but the power won't be there. No, it will be there. The demons in the Army of Darkness. They will be there. They will be trounced. They're not going to sit there and watch the demon hunters fight and do their dance. They're going to break them up. They're going to fight them. They're going to disrupt them. They're going to say mean things that's going to hurt them, that's going to affect them mentally. They're going to possess them. They're going to try to rip them apart. Sorry, kids. They're going to do the most vile and disgusting things because, frankly speaking, that's what the Army of Darkness does. It's vile. It's disgusting. It's brutal. It's shocking. It's funny. But it's also like, in the heart of Evil Dead was a brutal, violent series. This is the lightest one of them. People still got murdered in it. And,
All right, Ray, as always, you have had no counterpoints throughout the show, but you do get the final thought, so whenever you're ready.
I had a lot to say that had to get worked into a small window of time because Delvin was bringing the heat in this episode. Mad respect to you. You were able to rep Army of Darkness and bring in points I was not expecting, so I tip my hat to you. But that being said, in a neutral location does not mean that there are no people in this universe who also exist as bystanders. And anybody who hears them, anybody who could be inspired by them, which would be anybody else who's around for this battle, which there's got to be somebody. That soul energy will be the start, but also the energy of the people that they defeat. And as they mow through the skeletons and the ghouls and that first, like the chaff, if you will, of the army of darkness, they're going to be grabbing soul energy because you know that those guys have souls. And that's going to amp them up to the point they're not going to need an adoring crowd of people. It did work to their advantage that they were in a stadium of people who were there to see their concert in that final battle of their own movie, sure. And that's not going to be the case here. But I do believe that they will have enough from cutting through the light troops of the army of darkness and shielding themselves off with the songs that they are singing along the way, because none of these battles happen without a musical number being attached to them. And you could make the same argument for Army of Darkness, who played the March of the Dead by Joseph Loduca, one of my favorite movie tracks of all time. Big fan. But I think that the K-pop Demon Hunters are able to whittle down the mass amounts of troops who would give them the most trouble otherwise if they were able to work in concert. I think they're going to be able to fight them in chunks, whittle them down to by the point that there's only like normal demon-powered ones left and the two bosses. I think they're going to be able to handle that, especially with the amped nature of where they will be with soul energy. Man, those weapons, those moves, I love this movie. I love this battle. I'm excited to have been a part of it. I can't wait to see what happens next.
All right, you both brought a lot of heat to this. This was a really good start, a really great matchup, a lot to think about. It's music to my ears, if you will, but I'm going to take a little break and come back with my decision.
Made. Two figures met in collision. Now let's find out who would win. It's time to hear Sam's decision.
All right, guys, this was a super fun battle. I'm glad this is the first battle of our year. It's such a big, chaotic battle and not just a simple 1v1. Delvin started off strong with the whole call that the Army of Darkness are not demons, and thus the weapons don't have the same effect. But weapons are weapons, and skeletons still go down fast with even just an iota of skill. But even if those weapons don't have the same effect on the Deadites, Ray's point that they can materialize those weapons could be problematic if the Kandarian demon chooses to possess a pole arm instead of a demon hunter. But once they realize that the Kandarian demon is a demon, I think all bets are off, and he says goodbye. Like, that's it for him pretty quickly into this. So it really just takes one demon hunter to solo that. Evil Ash and Sheila do present an interesting challenge, and this might be the longest part of this battle if the K-pop demon hunters attempt to just slash and chop him up without actually finding an easy explosive end, if you will. And this could be enough for them to get into the heads of one of the trio. But also, is that not just enough to inspire another top 40 hit that brings Mira to her true form to land the final blow? At the end of the day, I do believe that the absolute winner of this battle is the K-pop Demon Hunters, but there is a good chance that Evil Ash just continues to wander around. So Ray, as far as I'm concerned, and I am just one voice in this, I'm giving this to the K-pop Demon Hunters. Is Ray with us?
Wow, that you really took me on a journey with that. I got so excited about having the K-pop Demon Hunters on the show that I broke my camera during the break while you were putting your decision together. So I apologize to our visual watchers. You will lose me the rest of this episode. So rewind and watch me from there, I guess. I think that this is the right decision. I think the Human, I think the whole deal is just too much for the Army of Darkness to get together. But Delvin put together an absolutely, the
amazing.
Han Moon. Let me go back and say it again. Yeah. The Han Moon. Thank you.
Yeah.
It's too much, but Delvin, you took me to my limit with this battle. So I'm going to say thank you for doing justice to my favorite movie of all time.
My honor, my pleasure. See, I scared Ray so much, he scared to even face me. He turned off his camera, people.
That's fair.
That tells you everything you need to know who to vote for, people.
Well, that could be. It could be up to the people because it is up to you and not me. I'm just one voice in all of this. Head over to our Patreon at patreon.com/whowouldwinmasters and let us know who you think wins. Delvin, thank you so much for joining us. You want to put any socials out there for people?
Nah, just hashtag overrule Sam.
All right. All right. And yeah, you just taunt him back on our Discord. Go find him over there. He's there a lot.
Yeah, just go over there.
Yeah.
Cheer for me, root for me. Boo Ray. He's scared to face me because he lost his camera.
Yep. All right, Ray, any final words?
Yeah, I'm so happy we did this battle. I've said it a million times. I'll say it again. This is great. I'm so excited to bring the K-pop Demon Hunters to the Who Would Win Masters show.
A long time coming.
And hopefully did them justice. Y'all at home who've seen the movies, you tell me. I think that me and Delvin both brought it today, but I'm biased because I'm here doing the thing I said went well. So you tell me that how we ended up doing it. And I am very curious how the people will vote on this. You can go to obviously patreon.com/whowouldwinmasters for this battle as well. Starting the new year, all free members, not free trial, free members join for free. That's it. As well as paid members will get an opportunity to vote and make their comments heard on the Patreon. And of course, they will all be on the Discord as well. We will have a place for comments on our Who Would Win Masters Discord that we will be searching when 1 week from now, we do the wrap-up episode and we see what y'all had to say about this excitement.
Yeah, every episode has its own thing. Yes, do it up. Possibly at the same time.
I agree completely. Yeah, these are two of the best movies that you're ever going to see. I think K-pop Demon Hunters, I'm not going to say anybody slept on it, right? But if you haven't seen it yet, it brings me joy. Watching the videos of the battles and everything I did to get myself back up to speed with what they do for this Who Would Win Masters episode, I was like tears in my eyes with joy watching them go. I love this property. I can't wait for the next one. All the success in the world. And Army of Darkness, I'll say it again, that's my favorite movie of all time. Literal number one with a bullet or you know, a sorcerer's incantation.
Yes.
Nice. All right. Well, thank you all for listening and absolutely make your voices heard on our social media and our Patreon. You can keep the debate going with Who Would Win Masters on YouTube and Threads and Instagram, but especially over at our Patreon, patreon.com/whowouldwinmasters. And from there, go to our Discord. Tune in next week when Ray and I go over your votes, your comments, and reviews of this episode. And we'll wrap this battle up. If you think you've got what it takes to be a part of Who Would Win Masters, record a 1-minute video demo of yourself, send it to whowouldwinmasters@gmail.com. And who knows, maybe we'll see you in the challenger's chair next time. For Who Would Win Masters, this is Sam Proof saying stay strong.
If you're a podcast host, listen up, this one's for you. My name is Allie Jackson. I'm the host of Finding Mr. Height, a dating and relationship podcast that I've been doing for 4 years now, sharing my positive and practical approach to dating that's built on my own life experience. And I wanted to share another experience that I've had, my secret behind monetizing my show. It's called Red Circle, and I was just telling my colleague about how much I love their platform. With Red Circle, not only am I getting a seamless hosting experience, but I also love the support I receive in ad sales. It's not just typical ad sales either. It's targeted opportunities based on my show and my life. And the platform is super simple. You just set your preferences and Red Circle matches you with sponsors that align with your show. You can vet every opportunity and their platform gives you great analytics. More recently too, my Red Circle team has brought me opportunities outside of my podcast on social media to really augment the podcast partnerships, bring them full circle. I just can't recommend them enough. If you want to give it a try, go to redcircle.com to get your free trial. That's redcircle.com for a free trial.